Less than 5 hours of deliberations. They went out at 10 o'clock this morning. We got word just after 2:30 that they'd reached a verdict on that one count against both of these teenagers, that count of murder in relation to Brianna Ghey's death in February. We've had a statement from the Crown Prosecution Service in which they say this has been one of the most distressing cases the Crown Prosecution Service has had to deal with. The planning, the violence, the age of the killers is beyond belief. Brianna Ghey was subjected to a frenzied and ferocious attack and was stabbed 28 times in broad daylight in a public park. Girl X and boy Y appear to have been a deadly influence on each other and turned what may have started out as dark fantasies about murder into a reality. The pages and pages of WhatsApp messages between the two, planning and plotting to kill people, talking of murder, torture and cruelty, were very difficult to read, they say. And they say this: the messages provided a terrifying insight into the minds of the two defendants. However, they also provided us with the detailed planning of the attack and then the attempts to cover it up. And that was the prosecution case, that these two teenagers had discussed this plan to kill Brianna in messages, in a note that was found on the floor of the girl defendant's bedroom, a handwritten note where she gave the date and the name of the victim, and details of how they would carry out this attack, of when they would meet each other, when they would meet Brianna, how they would get her to the to the park, and how they would carry out that killing. And the prosecution said those messages that they exchanged about killing Brianna actually laid out the plan, which was exactly what happened to her on February the 11th in that park in Culcheth in Warrington, where she was stabbed, and such horrific details in this trial of the injury she suffered and the death that befell her that day. They say it was a sustained and violent attack that they carried out 28 times. Brianna was stabbed. And they said that these two teenagers were preoccupied with violence, torture and death. Those messages talked about not only killing Brianna, but 4 other children that were known to them. They discussed killing those other children and that plan, and they encouraged each other in those discussions. The prosecution said that the girl had become fascinated with Brianna, the boy less so. He referred to Brianna as it. It was said by the girl defendant that he didn't like trans people, or both of them said in evidence they had no issue with trans people. But there was no dispute between the two of them that they were there that day. They were the two people seen running away that day, that they had a knife that was later found in the boy's bedroom. They simply blamed each other. They said each of them said they had their backs turned when the stabbing took place, and that they were not responsible. As the judge had said to the jury, they couldn't both be telling the truth, and the jury today didn't believe either of them and convicted them both of murder.